Alright, welcome back to part 2 of this downstairs bathroom remodel at the Lakeside Bungalow. We have the first layer of mud bed down, so now we just plop on this oatey membrane and start cutting up the drain hole. Now I just need to caulk around the inside of this hole here, put the cap on. The point of the caulk is so that if the P-trap or something down there were to clog up and the water were to back up, it would back up back on top of this PVC lining and not under it, right? So you want to seal off that little part. Then we have our top here, which you just line the nuts here, or the bolts. There you go. Now tighten these up. Alright, you need about a minimum thickness for my next mud bed layer, so I'm going to put this about an inch and a smidge higher than an inch than the ground. Something I do want to address here is that all these shower pans can be done different ways. And so I know I'm going to get comments from people who have done this type of work that I should have done it this way, I should have done it that way because of this and because of that. And yes, all those answers are probably correct. But there's other ways to do it. There's literally about a dozen ways that I had found when researching how to do this. This is only my second time doing this whole thing, but I've watched dozens of videos and people do it differently. But even the instructions for like this drain dive into how oatey says that you should do this kind of thing, right? So there are instructions from real manufacturers out there. This way I'm doing now is different than I did the first time. It just seems easier. But what I'm doing is, so I put the wallboard up on top of this membrane about a ½ inch to an inch higher, so that way water that sits here doesn't wick up into the cement board. And then I'm gonna pour my layer against the cement board. Now what I did last time was I poured the mud bed first, then I put the cement board on top about a ½ inch above that. There's really no difference. I just figured that this will be easier because I'll have straight edges to go against instead of a fabric. The other thing that I did differently was I put cement board on top of the curb here, while some people put a metal mesh and then put the mud bed around that. I'm not a mason. I'm not gonna mess with that kind of thing and try to get this completely straight. Cement board has worked for me in the past, and it's what still a lot of other people do. Now what I did was I actually attached the top here to this inside piece with liquid nails to really bond those. Then I shot some galvanized finish nails through here into here to really connect this as one solid piece. And that way I only had to use one nail or one screw on each end. And I put more liquid nails to secure this into the frame, into the actual step, the curb. So there's only two places that stuff can penetrate, but I'm also gonna put thin set on top of that. And then I'm also gonna put aquadefense on top of that. Whatever it's called. So my curb is going to be solid. One last step here is to add some like pea gravel stuff so the water can go into the weep holes, which are these holes in this plate that allow water that comes through the tile and through the grout and all that, that it allows the water to escape into the weep holes here when water can't reach the drain. So any water that gets behind the tile and this next layer of mud that gets on this membrane will run down. And remember, this is on top of the tile, or level with the tile. So I'm talking about what gets behind and on this can run to this drain and go into these weep holes and down the drain. And these rocks are to prevent the concrete from blocking those weep holes. 4-to-1 mud bed with a sand mix. Well, I did it. I got the mud pan down officially, all the layers of it. and we're good to go and start tiling for the most part. I just need to thin set some of the cement board, and once I get the rest of the cement board up, considering adding some tongue and groove ceilings here, but I'm actually going to raise this up a few inches because the pipe here has about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, so I'm going to try to get a couple inches higher than that. And I know it's going to be a lot of work just to raise it up, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. But we are done. 3-day project or something like that, when it should have just been a couple-hour project with me laying down like a fiberglass pan. But now it'll be more elegant, more sturdy, had to be custom. Those are the kinds of issues that you come across when doing a remodel though. So this is why we're kind of creating this series, so you can see the ins and outs of it. This is only a few $100 setback and a 2-day setback compared to HGTV, where it's like, hey, here's a $10,000 wiring issue we found behind the wall. It's not like that, right? So a couple $100 extra, a little extra time. There's no longer any lights in here, but check this out. What we are also going to be doing, and this is Tessa's idea. Let me step back. It's a long hallway. So if these walls are just painted whatever color, probably close to the same color here, all the way through, it's pretty empty on both sides, and then you have all the stuff going on here. So what she was thinking was making a cubby here. So what I'm gonna do is somewhere probably in between 2 bays, like maybe this bay and this bay, do an inset cubby. So people could put, I don't know, we could put plants, they could put little trinkets or soaps or whatever on there. And then we're gonna do the same thing for the upstairs bathroom, adding a couple of little cubbies. In the upstairs bathroom, I do have a door here. The hallway's a little bit probably shorter than downstairs. It's about the same, but there's a door to break up this empty space. So I'm gonna make the cubby right here, just in 1 bay. While downstairs, I'm probably gonna do 2 bays. I actually don't like how small this is, so I'm gonna drop this maybe down to that line there that I made. And if you think about it, there's gonna be another 3/4 of an inch on top and 3/4 inch there, because I'm gonna frame this in with some nice 1x pine wood, and same with the sides, and then I'm gonna ultimately frame it. But yeah, I'm just gonna drop this down a little bit. This is also gonna be raised up and be level with the sheetrock. There's a wire running right in the middle of this bathroom cubby we're making. And this is my wife's design, so this is not gonna fly. Gotta get rid of this cable. All right, what I'm going to do is drill out holes down here and actually use this wire to make an outlet by the bathroom and then finish connecting it to wherever it was going in the first place. The other half of the wire is over here in this hole. Okay. So the plan is going to be to wire my outlet right around here, run a new wire from here that connects to the old wire, tie it into the outlet, and then run the new wire over here where I'm going to put the vanity light and tie in the old wire back to it. So this will work as a junction box here, so I don't have to create some other kind of junction box. Here's the sill of my cubby. I'm going to use these shims in the back of it with the thinner side facing out and the thicker side towards the back, like that. I'm gonna put 2. And this way, when I put my top, I'll show you, this here, my top piece of cement board, it will angle out of the shower or into the shower. So if water gets trapped underneath the tile, it'll run off and down into the drain. Usually I have a smaller level, but you get the point. The bubble is way back in there. I got all of my mesh tape all around these seams here, as you can see in the corners, and I'm not overlapping. It pretty much dead ends there, same as here, cut it off there. Otherwise it could leave a little bump. I do have a couple of overlaps here because my gaps are pretty big. But yeah, overall it's all ready to be thin setted over. Just gonna do the curb real quick, but I need to clean up all this stuff. Curb is really important to do a thin set coating on, so it prevents cracking and things like that. So thin set isn't really a water protectant or a sealer or anything like that. What it does is actually it holds structural integrity. So it prevents things from shifting and moving, which prevents your tiles from cracking and your grout lines from cracking, things like that. But also whenever I put my waterproofing along all this, my AquaGuard or aquadefense, it has a backing to stick onto and really makes this one solid waterproof piece. Along with, I'm gonna waterproof most of this. I'm hopeful that I can actually lay some bathroom floors, paint all these walls, and then shower tile, vanity, all that can come in. But as my Excel spreadsheet shows with my schedule, there's a mixture of like 100 different small projects to do, like finishing up some of the painting outside and power washing and so many little and big things. Power washing is like a few hour project. I'm gonna stand here with this good lighting. So right now I'm gonna start with my first coat of the tape and float, and so hopefully by the end of today I can get 2 coats on and then get a 3rd coat tomorrow, maybe start already priming the walls. I need to paint or want to paint before I start laying the floors. Whoa, that's bright. The cool thing is I have no corners to tape and float, just that seam, this seam, and then over here. Just that seam and that seam. I'm not doing the corners because this is a concrete wall. I'm going to put like a L or corner piece of trim. And same up there, I'm gonna tongue and groove these, so it's gonna be a corner piece of trim. And I have tile here, so yeah, should be easy flowing. Now I do wanna patch this up a little bit. I had to cut all this out because however they installed this, you can actually see right here, like it sticks way out past the wall. Now the vanity is gonna be here, so it doesn't ultimately matter, but I still, like, I don't want bugs coming through the walls and all that stuff. So I need to figure out a good way to kind of cover this up.
Start it up.
That's it for me today. Accomplished almost everything on my list and a little bit extra. Tomorrow I'm going to Beach Mountain to go supply the properties and just do a little bit of maintenance around those things. It's a 2-hour drive there, 2-hour drive back. So it's an all-day ordeal. I am bringing all my tools up there just in case I come across something that the cleaners haven't brought to our attention, which is very likely. So I will be back in a couple days. I'm not really gonna bring my camera or anything. I just go there, tackle it, and come back and be done with it. I'm trying to automate those systems. I'm actually meeting with a handyman up there that I've hired for a few jobs before. And so I'm gonna ask him if him and his wife do supplies or if they can, and you know, maybe we could just hire him, ship our stuff directly over there to the mountain. That would be a better deal because then we wouldn't have to drive up there. Again, it's probably gonna be an 8-hour trip just to do something that someone could do in an hour or two. But okay, well, see ya. Today we're removing the vinyl floors, the asbestos vinyl floors or linoleum or whatever they are. And I'm gonna go through a tactic that my mom had actually found, and it's gonna be a hybrid of what she was doing with something that I was doing last time. So when it comes to messing with these floors and peeling them off, they're extremely hard to do without, you can't just scrape them off, especially these because you don't wanna tear them. So what we did at the last property in the mountains was we would put boiling hot water on the floors, and what that would do is slightly melt the glue that's holding this down, and it keeps the fibers from going into the air. Well, we don't have hot water, we don't have a microwave or a stove. I do have a fire going outside, but outside of that, there's no real way to get boiling water. So I have a propane torch and a bucket of water. So I'm gonna use a combination of those to start burning the floors. I've already done it a little bit in a test spot. Worked out great, and then I'll even show you what it looks like when I try to flake it off without any of that stuff.